Good evening. Welcome to the West Clermont School Board May 6, 2024 regular work session meeting. Mr. Romano, I'm sorry, let's do Pledge of Allegiance first. I got choices, so
You can go wherever.
either way. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next, Mr. Romano, will you please take the roll?
Mr. Patton.
Present.
Mr. Rudy.
Present.
Mr. Chumley.
Present.
Ms. Sanborn.
Present.
Mrs. Spencer.
Present.
All present?
Next up is speaking at the board. It looks like we do have one individual, Mr. Matt White.
Thank you. Thank you very much, members of the board. My name is Matt White. I'm an 8th grade history teacher at the middle school. It's my 32nd year in education. All 4 of my children graduated from West Clermont. And so I want to say thank you to the retirees, many who've had my children in class, and for the job they've done and to recognize their hard work. We also want to thank the family members who are here to honor and recognize that service, because you are sacrificing a part of your spouse in service, because it's not something that is a job that can be just left at school and not brought home. So I'm sure you've heard all the stories about our school experiences, and if you can't tell your spouse, who can you tell? So we thank you for hearing those stories as well. Hopefully this is not an end for everyone. It could be a transition, because even though we are permitted to retire with 34 years of service, this is my 32nd year, I can't imagine in 3 years doing nothing. But I can't imagine not retiring when I can. So I would hope that I would be able to serve, and so maybe some of these people here retiring tonight, they may come back and continue to serve in their role and still continue to help our district and teach, and that is definitely an option. I remember at Summerside, Bob Winterberger was a retiree, came back and helped us out in a difficult spot as principal, and that was my first placement when I transitioned from administration back to the classroom. He made that process really nice for me and was welcoming, and so there are definitely people out there who are not done and be ready to not have any work at 54 years of age. So we still have more life left in us, and I hope that they still serve our district in some way and find a way to help and contribute. And I just want to say thank you for your service to our district. Thank you.
Looks like next up will be our student voice.
Okay, we have 2 high school students here tonight. I'm not sure where Logan went. Oh, goodness, you're right behind me. I'm proud. Hey, where's he at? Sorry, Logan. We're going to start with Tori Lafferty. If you guys don't remember, you met Tori at a board meeting in the fall of 2022. And she was just starting our Teacher Academy program. And so Tori's going to tell you about how these past 2 years have went. Now, she had 2 other people with her that were going to join tonight. One's working, and one's trying to get into her last softball game at West Clermont High School. So we went ahead and excused them from being here, but Tori's going to pick up the slack.
So at the beginning of junior year, when I started the program, that first year is just learning how curriculums work and lesson planning and all this other stuff within Teacher Academy. And then we moved on to this senior year to internships within the elementary schools around here. So the difference from what I thought it was going to be is completely different to what it was. I thought it was, I'm just going to go in, I'm going to sit there, I'm going to basically just watch what they're doing. But in the classrooms, I'm helping the students. I get to work with them. This semester, I'm working with the 5th graders at Willowville, and I get to help them. I'm in the math portion of the class, so the students that don't know how to pick up on it yet, I kind of help them move forward with it and help them. So as of right now, I bring the students out to like an ELA space when maybe they didn't do their homework. So I'll bring them out and I'll help them do it. And just some of them, some of them don't understand. We switched the classes around, so now I'm working with students with like IEPs and 504s. So they're really struggling, but they love when I'm coming because they know that they're gonna get the help they need, like kind of one-on-one, or just a small little ratio. And last semester, I was with preschoolers, and that is a whole different type of thing, you know, because they're just learning their basic skills in life, so you're kind of just helping them through everything. I was actually with Miss Collins over here. She was one of my internship teachers for the preschoolers, and it's just so much different just because of how the environment is. So it is a great opportunity to get if you're thinking about going into education, just because it gives you the chance to experience what it's like before you get to college and actually decide that you want to do it. So like right now, yes, I love working with the kids, but I'm going to go more on that social work route so I can still be a part of it and help them, but not necessarily teach them through it. So I'm glad I was able to go through this program to see where I was going to land once I got to college. About it.
You guys have questions about the program or anything about her experience before we get her off the hook?
Any questions for Tori?
What made you decide to go the social work route?
Just because I really still want to help like kids within it. Like I'm thinking about becoming like a child therapist kind of thing. And if I go through that social work route, I'm able to help those kids that might need it, but not teach them.
We can still hire you back here in a few days.
Hopefully it wasn't that preschool experience. But how, how impressive and how poised Tori is. I remember you speaking 2 years ago and you had a script and you were really nervous, and just to stand up in front of a room that has so many more people in it and get up and speak, that just that skill right there is humongous. So congratulations, you've done a phenomenal job. All right, next I'd like to introduce Logan Maloney. Logan's part of our student tech internships. Logan he worked with us last summer as a tech helper for the district, and then came back, and now he's part of our inaugural student tech team. And you're also doing the CBL part, correct? So he comes on Tuesdays and Thursdays when he doesn't have to be at school to work with our student tech team. And so he's going to tell us a little bit about that experience.
He's also an early IT, right?
Yeah, Logan does everything.
Yeah, that's
So-
what I thought.
Come on over.
Hello, I'm a senior at West Clermont. I'm involved with a lot of tech stuff around here. I'm finishing my early IT program, which is just like a group of 6 classes where you just basically go in, you learn programming, data science, I think that database, web development, which like websites and stuff. So I'm part of that. I'm also part of the help desk this year. It's the first time they're doing this. Typically, you have one person who does the Chromebooks for all districts. So this year is a first where students are involved. We go in and we fix the Chromebooks for the middle school and the high school. So typically, I will go in there, I'll get a device, I'll look it up, and I'll just fix it and then send it back, and they'll get that Chromebook. So it takes up a huge workload off of one of the tech workers here. And I learned how to do a lot of social skills because as a nerd, I don't have a lot of social skills. I am still not really good at public speaking, so doing my best. But during the help desk, every day I talk to pretty much people that I've never seen before. I learn what's wrong with their device, why they broke it, essentially, and fix that. So yeah, I learned, I increased my social skills to some extent. I work with other students. Typically, every bell, it's like 3 to 4 students fixing devices every day. We have Mr. I, our assistant tech person. He oversees us. So through him, I've learned how to pretty much fix a Chromebook and like organize it, do a lot of stuff that I probably wouldn't imagine doing if I wasn't here. Unfortunately, I'm a senior, so I won't be able to do it next year, but this year has been amazing. So as a first year program, it's amazing. Tell your kids about it, it's great. I recommend doing it, so yeah.
Do you guys have any questions for Logan?
So, using what you got here, what's your plans?
I'm currently going to UC Clermont right now for IT. I already got accepted, so it's great. And since I've already taken 6 of the UC courses through high school, through the early IT program, I'm going to take those when I go to Clermont. So I got like 6 classes off. It's money saved.
I think you did a great job.
Thank you, appreciate it. I had to call someone in the car for 20 minutes.
These two volunteered their time to come here at night, so thank you guys so much for taking that time out of your day. The one big thing that Logan really helps out with, and that student tech team helps out with, is we're able to get devices back in students' hands so much quicker. And the turnaround time is so much faster than it has been any other school year. We've had kids wait days and days for devices. Kids aren't waiting for devices at all now. They're getting them back, or they're getting a loaner immediately, and then getting the device back immediately, as opposed to getting a loaner, oh, we don't have a loaner because too many are out. We're all getting devices immediately, so there's no gap in what we're doing, so that's been a huge help. So thank you, Tori, you guys are awesome.
Logan is also a repeat visitor to the board meeting. He stood up with me when we did State of the Schools 2 years ago. And he did not want to be standing up there, but he was nice enough to volunteer. And I'm so proud of you. I think you're very impressive tonight. You have come a long, long way. So we wish you the very best as you both graduate. And don't forget where you came from. Like we welcome you back anytime. So great job.
All right, we're glad to see everyone here. We're getting ready to recognize our retirees. Before we start that, I want to reiterate what Matt White said. If you guys are still wanting to come back in some capacity, just hit me up. I can find a spot for you. All right, so this is how we're going to do it. We're going to go by alphabetical order by school, starting with elementaries. You'll come up, and each principal will say a few words about you, and then you'll get your prize. And then we'll go out by school into the main hall, Main Street. Jack will take a picture, and then after Randy does his, we'll have a bunch of cookies.
Yeah, the tradition of West Clermont has been for many years. Gary Brooks, a former superintendent of West Clermont, paints a one-of-a-kind painting. And it's often a schoolhouse or some part of Ohio that he brings to life. And so it's a very special, unique gift that every person can take with them.
So we're going to start with Amelia. So Shane, come on up.
All right, first we're going to recognize Patty Metcalf. So Patty, if you could come up. So Patty has served 16 years in West Clermont, both at Merwin and Amelia, beginning her career as a para and then moving into food service. When I came to Amelia several years ago, Patty was responsible for delivering all the breakfasts in the morning at 6 a.m. And with a building of over 700 kids, that's a lot of breakfast for one person to deliver. So that is a big undertaking for anybody. We will miss her positivity, her kind words, and I'm sure that her kids, grandkids, and even her great-grandkids will enjoy having her around full time. Congratulations, Patty, on your retirement. Thank you very much. Next, I have Stephanie Light. When I was talking with Mrs. Light about what to say tonight, she told me just to chat GPT it, which is great advice, but the problem I have is I don't have a short time to talk about her amazing 34-year career in West Clermont. Stephanie student taught in first grade and ultimately taught all but 1 year in first grade. So I guess when you find something you love, you just stick with it. Stephanie has been the ultimate leader, mentor, teacher, and friend to so many students, parents, and colleagues throughout the years. I, like so many others, are appreciative of her positive attitude each and every day, and I know I'm not alone in saying this, but there will be a whole lot of Amelia at the end of the year when we have to turn out the light. So thank you, Stephanie, congratulations.
You could have them go around and shake everyone's hands and then they can leave for the picture, right? Have them go in the middle.
Oh,
Yeah.
This side.
Sorry. Yes.
Sorry.
Now everyone else will know what to do, Steph.
Congratulations. Next we have Summerside. So come on up.
Good evening. It is my honor to celebrate Mrs. Jude Cantor this evening as she retires from our district this spring. Mrs. Cantor, you want to stand on that? Oh, she's like, I'm just going to stand. You're not retired yet. Mrs. Cantor joined the educational field as a second career because she was seeking the opportunity to make a difference in students' lives, something she continues to do in her daily work at Summerside. She began as first grade teacher hired by the great Dr. Foltz, I do believe. Yeah, we'll give credit where credit is due, but I was privileged enough to get to know her there as such a dedicated educator who reaches to students and pushes them to their success as well as wrap around to support their families. Mrs. Cantor moved to Willowville when she merged schools and then taught first graders online in 2020-2021. That in and of itself wasn't her favorite years. However, her strengths in literacy were needed in that interim. And while it wasn't ideal for a teacher like Mrs. Cantor especially, who strives to get to know her students and who genuinely cares and wraps around them to connect with them. Mrs. Cantor joined Summerside 2 years ago as a first grade teacher and was very brave in looping with them as a second grade teacher and is retiring in that second grade position. She serves on our building leadership team, and her leadership with our grade level team, as well as in our buildings, continue to guide our overall progress. That we're so thankful. We wish you well, Mrs. Cantor, as you retire from a profession you've helped make stronger because of your role in it. We hope you take time with your husband, your son, your daughters. We promise that we will continue to take great care of her daughter, who is a kindergarten teacher at Summerside as well, who she helped raise through the system and who brought her in as a volunteer. Speaking of volunteering, we look forward to the days ahead when you're sitting in your daughter's classroom and continuing to work with our students. So congratulations, you're going to be missed.
All of these people have been my principals a long time ago.
Congratulations. All right, next we have Kevin Jones to come talk about Willowville.
Thank you, Dr. Foltz. Tonight I'd like to recognize Leslie Morgan. Leslie's been with us at Willowville the past 2.5 years here in our district as well in West Clermont. So we've been blessed with the opportunity to work with her. Although we only had a small window of time with her, she's had a beautiful career, not only working in education, but also in architecture as well. She has spent years previous to this working in the Milford district. She started as a paraprofessional. She's also worked as a reading tutor. She worked in the Madeira district as well and was a paraprofessional there. She also worked at the middle school there and spent some time in some of the special education units there. She, in addition to that, has served as a preschool teacher. She was at the Ohio Valley Voices as a preschool teacher. And finally, she's been teaching preschool with us at Willowville these past 2.5 years. It's been such a great blessing to work with her. I asked her paraprofessional, Mrs. Fulton, I said, how would you describe, because she's with her every day. You know, it's like your own kids, right? I said, they really know what you're like day in and day out as they see the inner workings of your classroom. And so Ms. Fulton told me when I asked her about Liz, she said it's been such an honor to work with her and get to know Leslie every day, professionally and personally. She strives every day to make our students fall in love not only with school, but with learning. Her education, her life experiences, and her love of learning has made Leslie the teacher that you will never forget working with or learning from. Leslie is a mentor, a guide, a scholar, and working with her makes you appreciate the commitment that she has to education as well as to her students. So Liz said it was such a blessing, and saying that is an understatement for her time working with you. I thought that was a great testament of your professionalism. So Leslie has a love of teaching. She also loves reading. She loves gardening. She loves art. She loves spending time with her husband, Bob, and their dog, Dexter, and their family. So as your career, this stage of it comes to a close, we congratulate you on this well-deserved retirement, and we know that your career was a beautiful career. And we thank you and appreciate all that you did for West Clermont, for all the children and the lives that you've touched over the years. So thank you, Leslie Morgan.
I'm coming. It takes a minute.
All right, good evening. I have the privilege this evening to recognize and congratulate Mrs. Kathy Coleman. Total of 33 years as an educator, 31 in West Clermont. She's taught grades 1, 3, 4, and 5. She does not know this, but the last couple of days, last week, I asked a couple of her students, describe Ms. Coleman. It's all right. Here's some of the things they said. I asked for her laugh, her smile. She cares about me, and she helps me. And they didn't even know why I was asking. I said, just tell me about her. And that's what they said. I have personally witnessed the joy of making a difference with our students. When I asked her what she was going to miss, she mentioned the WT family who, quote, kept her going, supported and honored her throughout her career with their love and friendship. Ms. Coleman looks forward to traveling in her next journey and coming back as a math tutor in the next chapter of her life. And Kathy, I always remember that you're once a Bobcat, always a Bobcat. We're going to be missing you.
Yes, you can. I'll meet you after.
watching that.
Good evening. Hi, everybody. I'm Tracy Ray, proud principal of West Clermont Middle School, and tonight we are here to honor 3 of our finest. I'm going to start with Jill. Jill, come on up. Jill Harvard, intervention specialist, exemplifies our portrait of an educator with a standout competency area of a relationship builder and effective communicator. She cares deeply for her students and builds strong relationships with them. Her strong communication skills allow her to clearly communicate with students to provide them with encouragement and feedback for growth. Jill began when she was hired as a tutor for Glen Estee Middle School and Willowville Elementary. A year later, she lucked out when an intervention specialist went on maternity leave at Amelia Middle. This was originally a temporary position, however, ended up becoming permanent. At Amelia, she was part of the first group of teachers to begin inclusion. The majority of her time in the district was working as an 8th grade intervention specialist, and most recently, she switched to 6th grade. During retirement, she plans to do things that she enjoys: hiking, biking, playing pickleball, and traveling. Congratulations, and you will be missed. Next, we'd like to honor Todd Mobley. Todd Mobley, math teacher, exemplifies our portrait of an educator with a standout competency area of student-centered and lifelong learner. Todd has been on the forefront of the curriculum alignment and resource work over the last few years. He has led through his strong understanding of content and how to make it student-centered. Todd did not decide to go into education until he started coaching basketball while in college. He enjoyed the kids and decided to change his major to education. After graduation, he got a job teaching 8th grade at Amelia Middle School. He also coached basketball and track for about 15 years. He has taught his entire 34-year career at West Clermont. He has taught at Amelia Middle School and then West Clermont Middle School. He's been practicing for retirement every summer since 1996. He might fix up his bicycle and get back into cycling again. He may even get back into golfing regularly again. He also enjoys reading and will spend a lot of time reading books on the back deck. He likes to read and he likes numbers. That's quite a combo. He also looks forward to doing some more traveling, especially once his beautiful wife, Anne, is able to retire as well. Or who knows, he says, he might just decide to go back and teach somewhere. Maybe it could be here. Congratulations, Todd. And last, we'd like to honor Casey Walters. Casey, music teacher, exemplifies our portrait of an educator with a standout competency area of empowerment and engagement. She is always seeking new ways to teach her music classes and pivots regularly to assure student success. Casey grew up in West Clermont schools, K-12, graduated from Amelia High School in 1985, taught 34 years of her 35 in West Clermont. Half of her career has been in elementary music and beginning band, and the other half in many different middle school music courses. After retirement, Casey plans to set an alarm clock as little as possible, catch up on reading, and take a few months to figure out the next professional chapter. Congratulations to all of you.
At the high school, we have 5 retirees to recognize. Only 2 were able to make it tonight. Must be May. All right, so I'm going to start with Milt Statterman. Okay. Milt is custodian at the high school, custodian at Glen Estee High School, Middle School. He spent 29 years in the district. He was one of the hardest working men I've seen. At 71 years old, he was running circles around some of our 25-year-old custodians and then getting mad when they couldn't keep up. He never told anybody he was mad. Unfortunately, Milt can't be with us tonight, but the high school misses him. I mean, he's a tremendous worker, and we miss his work ethic and the way he pushed the people around him to be better. So I'd like to congratulate Milt. Next, that could not be here tonight is Dr. Keith Brackenridge. He's only been in our district for 2 years now. I called him 2 summers ago when, unfortunately, at the last second, we lost our AP calculus teacher. And he was at a different district, and I talked him into coming over and teaching calculus for these last 2 years. He spent 34 years in education. He taught at Sycamore for 25 of those years, and he did 5 years at Miami University, and then he was at Monroe before here. He really did help bail us out and helped our students here at the high school. Sue Story also can't be with us tonight. If you know Sue, she's probably one of the sweetest people you ever meet in your life. It's unfortunate that she can't be here with us tonight. She's one of the kindest people, and she always put her students first. All she wanted to be was in that classroom with those kids, and it's a shame that she can't be here with us tonight. All right, next we'll go with, let's go with Charles first. Charles, come on up here. You want to be last? Wow. Charles is only been in education for a little while. He's completing year 44 of education. He started his teaching career about 4 months after I was born. Just throwing it out there, Charles. So if you walk by his classroom right now, we didn't make it to the 3rd floor on our tour, but he's got the Charles Swift Retirement Tour, and it's TIE Tour, because he had such a collection of ties that he started hanging them from his door one by one each day after he finishes the day. Your tie today is up there? Yeah. So how many ties you got left?
There's 13 left.
13 left. It must be 13 days of school left. So Charles is finishing up his 20th year at West Clermont. He did some years overseas and some years in different districts, Central Ohio. And what I will say about Charles is this is year 44. Charles has not missed meetings. He has not phoned it in. He comes to work every day, and every day he tries to get better than he was yesterday. And it's hard to say that with such a long career that he's not like, okay, I'm at the end. He's still going just like it was 1981, right, Charles? 80, sorry, 81 first school year, right? So thank you, Charles. It's been a pleasure working with you these past 7 years. I think you've done a phenomenal job for our kids. We're going to miss you. We're going to miss your daughter. She's graduating this year, and it's been great. Tell us you're actually need another year. And last but not least is Katie Howard. Katie, come on up. I probably can't get the decimal right on the amount of years Katie's worked. We'll say 34.3 something?
Somewhere.
She had 33.8 7 years at the end of last year, correct, or something like that?
West Clermont
We won't
credited me
talk
with
about.
a full year.
Oh,
So I am STRS did not.
Oh, yeah. So STRS missed like part of her first year where she was here and working as a long-term sub to start, correct, the first year or no?
No, I actually got hired because a levy passed.
Oh, that's right.
And
It
so
was
I
in
could help alleviate
November.
some overcrowding.
Yep. And so Katie's been here with us for those 34 years, and you won't find a bigger advocate for teachers or public education than Katie Howard. I know she doesn't always think I was listening, but I was when Katie said, when your teachers are happy, your students are happy. And she's right. When your teachers are happy, your students are happy. And I know this is not goodbye for Katie. She's too active in politics, government, that there's another chapter. I'm just very curious to see what that chapter is, and if she runs for public office or whatever else happens next. Her work in this building with furthering our curriculum, with mock trial, with law and criminal justice, our students. I had a student ask me, is Mrs. Howard going to be at graduation? I'm like, knowing her, yeah, she'll definitely be at graduation. I hope I was right by saying that. Fingers crossed. I think I saw your name on the list. But Katie's left an impact. Her mock trial kids that had you 2 years ago, and I know you helped out last year, still talk about all the things they've done and all that they miss you and how wonderful it was. And so we're losing two really, really good, strong educators that have helped the field and the teaching profession for years here. But it's well deserved, so congratulations, Katie.
Congratulations, sir. Charles, good to see you. Congratulations. Oh, come on now. Thank you, sir.
I'm here to speak on behalf of Nancy Johnston. I have had the pleasure of working with Nancy for 2.5 years. She's retired as of winter break this year. Always will remember Nancy as kind and compassionate. I absolutely loved the conversations we would have around just systemic issues, family issues, getting to know her as a human being. I will say she had the unfortunate experience of having 3 major crises happen in her role as somebody that supports students with attendance needs. First was House Bill 410, which happened way back in 2016. And this Ohio legislation really put a lot of focus on compliance and holding students and families accountable for getting to school. Next came COVID. That just kind of really threw everybody for a loop because we didn't know where students were half the time, let alone how do we start to address issues around attendance at school when school was virtual and not face-to-face. And then her third crisis was, to be honest, me. And I took House Bill 410 and everything that stood for and kind of turned it upside down and really tried to work with her and the team to have a focus on what do we need to do to support students. Nancy was great at working with our elementary school teams and trying to identify why students weren't here, what we could do to connect services and to support them. She struggled a little bit on not being as compliance driven because of that House Bill 410 piece. But in the end, we found, our ability to work together. And then lastly, what I would say, I saw it as a strength Nancy might have identified it, the 3 years I worked with her, as something she needed to work on. But Nancy wasn't afraid to speak her mind. And you either appreciated that or it frustrated you, and I wholeheartedly appreciate it. When you have somebody who isn't afraid to say, this is what I believe and why I believe it, that is somebody that has drive and is willing to do the things necessary for our students. For that, I was fortunate to work with Nancy. Thank you.
Yeah,
We'll speak briefly about Roger Harris. He can't be here tonight. He was a maintenance man for 16 years at the middle school. And the reason I want to talk about him is because he was at the middle school, our most demanding building. You never knew he was there because he fixed things. He never called me. I always had to go out there to talk to him. He was that kind of man. He was very, very professional. If things needed to get done, he'd get there at 4 o'clock in the morning. We'd get them done before the kids hit the building or the teachers. What I want to talk to you about, though, is the man and his character. He's truly a Renaissance man. He was well-versed in literature, art, music. I'd like to go out there in the boiler room in his office and talk to him about music, literature, your book, for example. I recommend it to him. I think he wanted it. So he was that kind of guy. He was fascinating, he is fascinating to talk to, well-versed in life, really. And he's taught me a lot. So it's unfortunate he can't be here tonight. I do believe he's on vacation with his wife. But I wanted to say something about a man that probably not too many knew, but kept things going. Thank you.
All right. Last but certainly not least is Kathy Palazzano. Come on up. Was the sugar receptionist with us for 22 years. Her ability to help families that walk in, especially those that spoke Spanish, made her a valuable asset to our team. So I just want to say, Kathy, thank you for everything you've done for families and staff at West Clermont.
Miss you down there. Congratulations.
Yeah.
We're going to continue with the recognition. First, we're going to recognize Chuck LaFada for getting the air turned on. Operations is always 100%, right?
That's right, brother. That's right.
Good. First recognition is going to be to our 2023-2024 Business Advisory Council. The BAC, the Business Advisory Council, school districts are required to have this. Some of them do it on their own. Some of them do it with their ESC. There are over about 110 different BACs throughout the state. And so you then fill out an application for the awards. And people that know me know I'm very, very competitive. And so when I went for the award, there are 3 different divisions, 2, 3, and 4 stars. So I was going to go right to the middle and try to get a 3 on the first year, and we got 2. But we're going to get a 3 next year. So as we move, it's the first time that we've been able to receive this award. I think it's a great honor. We'll be honored this Friday. Hamilton County is going to give us some recognition this week. We'll also be honored this summer for our BAC. The BAC is a collection of different partners. We have Jesse Simmons tonight from the supply chain, OKI, Riley O'Grady for the lead trainer and training. And so we have multiple different partners that come to our meetings. And one of the things that we did this year, and what Natasha and I talked about, is we want to get as many people involved with our BAC. With our BAC, what we wanted to do is going to be student-centered, provide opportunities for our kids. That is the number one priority for our BAC. Give them experiences outside the walls of the high school and outside, experience real world experiences. Some of the people that are involved in our BAC, we have the Chamber of Commerce, we got DQL, American Modern, small businesses like Big B Coffee, UC Clermont, Mercy Health, Hospital, Fifth Third. So you can see we have a very large list, and we continue to get more and more people to come in to our BAC to provide opportunities for our kids. And that's the number one thing that we want to do. We don't want it to be a check mark. We don't want to be a checkbox for the state. We want it to actually be a living, thriving operation, basically, that we are getting our students an opportunity inside the community. It's going to continue to grow, and we're going to get that 3-star next year. 4-star is pretty tough. There's only about 4 of them throughout the state. I'm just going to tell you that. I'll shoot for it, but it's going to be something that we want to recognize. Mr. Adams want to recognize because of the hard work. We do meet quarterly, and we're starting to see really great results from this, and we're going to continue that. So tonight, we want to honor our BAC. We have a few members that did show up tonight, and so we want to provide them with a certificate and thank them for their service to West Clermont. You get one too. You're one too. Hopefully I gave you the right certificate. Great to come back. If not, Angela, you can take credit for this. If we need somebody. So the next award, and we put this out, and I know we did a press release as well, and I think that this is an award. The high schools received 3 national awards in the last few years. High Schools at Work, 2 Pacesetter Awards, and then the best high schools from the U.S. News World Report. This is something that started when we came to high school. And Katie's not here, but I could have talked about when we started. We weren't sure we could feed everybody. We didn't have a locker for everyone, which I was a panic. I thought I came from a small school, everyone needed a locker, everyone uses it. Nobody uses it in a big school, so that was not a problem. We had a lot of work to do in the beginning just to get the group together. We had 2 rival high schools come together, 2 staffs, and we had a lot of different things that we had to work through. We had a tremendous team when we started the school. With Christy and all the originals, and Jake, he came the year after, but we had Ross, and Nate. Just a great administrative team is what's really started this. So to get a national award, it's not what you do this year, it's what you do leading up to it. Then when we had the curriculum started to be in place at elementary, worked with Amy, secondary as well, with Megan, things have started to click. And this is what's going to happen. This is going to be what's going to happen for the future as well. And so when you get national recognition of being one of the best high schools in the state and in the nation, these are the expectations that we came into, and this is what we wanted. I think this is just a start. And so to get this award, you have to be in the top 40% in the country. We're actually in the top 20% in the country. We're also in the top 19% in Ohio. So this is a lot of work from a lot of people. But the most important is what happens in the classroom. Without teachers, and what happens in the daily classroom, you don't get these awards. Student achievement does not go up unless you have the teachers right on the front lines, having the passion to get to these kind of results. And that's what we have, and that's the direction that we're going. And so I challenge the high school to get the silver award coming up. That's what we do, silver and gold. So as we continually move forward, we will see the best high school. You'll start to see that on everywhere. You'll see a banner because we're proud. We're proud of the high school. We're proud of the staff. And more importantly, we're proud of the students as well, because we couldn't do it without them. And so we want to congratulate the high school for all their hard work, their continued work, and the challenges that they're going to have. So, to Mr. Padova, congratulations. Keep it going. So with that, we're gonna take a break right now, go out, eat some cookies and punch, and we'll come back and, finish. So we don't need a motion, we just go.
Well, he's, he gave a few pieces.
You guys, come here, sit down.
Get back in the corner.
Okay. Welcome back, everyone. In front of you is the personnel agenda for May 6, 2024. On the agenda today, we have the retirement of Todd Mobley, math teacher. He was here this afternoon. He's finished up his 34th year in West Clermont, so we wish him well. You have the resignations of an assistant director of technology, 1 maintenance worker, 5 teachers, and 2 paraprofessional aides. This agenda also includes proposed hiring of 8 general ed teachers, 5 special education teachers, 1 maintenance worker. This agenda also includes a proposed extended day for our new child nutrition director in order for her to work more this summer prior to her contract starting. On this agenda, we have the proposed hiring of 1 school psychology intern. We're always very fortunate to have interns almost every year, and so we welcome her to West Clermont. We also have on the agenda the approval of supplemental contracts for 3 home tutors and the boys high school head basketball coach. Included on this agenda is the proposed approval for multiple unpaid leaves of absences, multiple school volunteers and student teachers. And then included on this agenda is the proposed change of position title from Coordinator of Strategic Initiatives and Communication to Public Information Officer. So when someone leaves the position, we always review their role and determine if the position is still needed, and if so, does the scope of work, as the scope of work has evolved, does the title match the scope of work? So that's what we're doing here. We're right-sizing this time. And finally, beyond this contract section, I would propose approval for additional preschool education support that we have here. So I respectfully request that you approve the personnel agenda as presented.
Thank you, Mr. Foltz. You have heard the recommendation. I'll actually put that out in the form of a motion. Do I have a second? Second. Thank you, Mr. Rudy. Is there any discussion? Thank you. Mr. Romano, will you take a roll, please?
Mr. Patton?
Yes.
Mr. Rudy?
Yes.
Mr. Chumley?
Yes.
Ms. Sanborn?
Yes.
Mrs. Spencer?
Yes.
5 yes.
Good evening again. So tonight we have our second reading. We've put this in front of you probably 4 times already, so I'm going to recommend that you take action on policies that are listed in your agenda from 1439 through 8660, and I'm making that recommendation for you to approve, revise those policies, new policies, replacement policies as presented.
Thank you. You've heard the recommendation. Would someone like to make a motion? So moved. Thank you, Mr. Chumley. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Sanborn. Is there any discussion? Thank you. Mr. Romano?
Mr. Chumley? Yes. Ms. Sanborn?
Yes.
Mrs. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Rudy?
Yes.
Mr. Patton?
Yes.
5 yes.
Next, I'd like to introduce Mr. Pottebaum again to present the class of 2024 to you, and this is an action item that we need to vote on as well.
Good evening. Before you have the class of 2024 and their approval for graduation. They completed the graduation requirements, all the state test requirements, and that needed for graduation. So I ask that you approve them to graduate this year.
Thank you, Mr. Pottebaum. You have heard the recommendation. Would someone like to make a motion, please? Thank you, Mr. Rudy. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Spencer. Is there any discussion? Thank you. Mr. Romano?
Mr. Rudy?
Yes.
Mrs. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Patton?
Yes.
Mr. Chumley? Yes. Ms. Sanborn?
Yes.
5 yes.
Thank you very much. And next, we'll pass it off to Mr. Collins, Mr. Hollinger, and Mr. Rice for our athletic strategic plan.
We asked that the athletic team come together today. We, as you've been hearing since January, we've had impact team reports on all kinds of topics that we've looked at across the school district. And kind of mid-year, we decided that it would be important to bring together the planning that we've been doing around athletics. And so we're calling this our 2030 strategic plan. They're going to share with you some of the highlights, some of the things that they've learned through their process of research and getting perception data, and look to the future. So it's important to us across our school system that we are listening, we are learning, and we're looking to the future, and we'll certainly be able to show you that tonight. So, take it away.
First off, thanks for having us. There's been a lot of work in this, and we've learned a lot. We got some great feedback. I also am very thankful for this to be a priority from the superintendent and the board. This been a great education process, definitely for Reed and Alex, so thank you. So what we did was we did a basic overview of our whole athletic process, from parent surveys, student surveys, head coaching surveys, we even did a self-audit. And our self-audit, we basically researched every one in our conferences, practices on said items, from final forms, to their mind, to coaches' feedback. We did that. The survey results are on there. I'm proud of the survey results. We have 70% in those every category of satisfied to very satisfied. Some of the things that we got back were very educational, and what I'm looking for in survey results is trending points, same points from different schools. So we did listen and we learned, and this is our action plan, how we're going to respond. With the survey, we had some great strengths. Obviously, I just showed our new basketball coach, the facilities, they're state of art, best in the county. Where we're also very blessed is we have very strong community partners as far as business. We have the Mercy contract, we have the Fairfax contract, and we have the La Rosa's contract. What we also found about, we have a very passionate alumni base. We are starting to have West Clermont alumni. We're starting. They come back to games, and doing the research, you'll find that we've been very competitive in our conference. Last year, 2 schools in the state of Ohio won the Bruce Brown Award of Excellence for procedure and compliance with athletics. West Clermont was one of the 2. Since our merge, we've had over 200 athletes signed to play college athletics. #1 in the county by double any other school. And that's not counting this Thursday that we're at 19 right now, with more coming in later. Since joining the ECC, we've had 17 Coach of the Year awards, 15 Player of the Year awards, and 2 State Coach of the Year awards. The challenges we've got back. Parents and kids want more communication. They want more. We have low participation in some sports. Alex will address that later. Retention in coaches, mainly assistant coaches. A lot of our assistant coaches leave, and we'll get to that in a minute. We need to focus on the student athletic experience. The reason for that now is the college landscape has changed for high school athletics. Colleges recruit the portal. Other colleges, they don't really recruit 18-year-old kids that much anymore. So we need to change our emphasis on making it about their experience, and if that happens, it happens. Cincinnati was getting probably 35 Division I kids a year in Southwest Ohio, down about 15. And that's not West Clermont, that's just the city of Cincinnati. And one of our biggest challenges is we need more people to participate with the boosters. We need that. Because if we can get them in the room, I think we can do it. And doing that, the goals out of this, we need to align our athletic goals with the direct goals of the district. And in coming up with that, we want the total athlete. We want the total athlete, academic and athletic. In doing that, one of our goals is workforce. We need to retain our high-level coaches. We need to make this the destination that they want to come. We've had some great hires this year, and I'm hoping that works. Our partnerships, we need to keep the strong ones going, but we also have had great success since December with the community, the youth, and alumni. We have some pictures later about the youth events that have been amazing. And in doing that, back to communication, we want to build the trust. We want to promote the brand. The survey is a great tool if you're looking for like trends. Success indicators. A lot of times in sports, it's not always about the score, but how we're going to measure our success is program participation, 7 through 12. Survey results, 70% or higher was the baseline, satisfied or very satisfied. We want to make more of an investment in our athletic program. We want to increase student scholarship offerings. Number one with that is we have to improve their GPA, because right now, if you're gonna go to college, you're gonna get just as much academic money as you are athletic money. Bring the pride back to West Clermont. What I'm most proud of, we've been in operation for 7 years. We've had 3 East Side student sections of the year 3 times out of 7 years. And they weren't with undefeated teams either. So what does that tell you about our kids? They come up and support each other. Basically, we're gonna align with the RISE value, the portrait of a coach. We have to develop our own coaches and teach them what a portrait of a coach means. We're continuous improvement. We meet with Alex Reed every week to make sure we're on the same page. We have a 2030 budget meeting with Dan on Wednesday at 12 o'clock to go over the next 5 years forecast for facility replacement, equipment needs, from turf to hurdles. But the best work that we've done since Christmas, we started it over Christmas. We called it merging the bins. Every middle school team practiced over here at Christmas for 1 week. It was a way for our coaches to get direct insight and hands on those kids. To say it was a success is an understatement. A lot of those kids that we got word of that were going to private Catholic, now they're thinking about staying. So the merging the dens is already in progress. Softball, middle school softball played here Saturday. They got rained out. They've had tennis matches here, track meets here, basketball, etc.
Now, on to our student athlete experience, one of the big key points that we found was incorporating a professional training service such as Pro Force or Black Sheep. We are one of the few schools in our conference that doesn't utilize a professional training service, and feel that puts us at a disadvantage. Going on towards the transparency piece, creating bi-weekly evaluation plans for each student athlete with the coach, so that the student athlete knows where they stand on the team, what they can do to improve on, and what they know that they're doing good, kind of where they stand with the program. Like James mentioned, academic success and support, making sure that our students have the resources to be successful not only on the court but in the classroom as well, to know they are first a student athlete. And as they progress on, making sure that they're in compliance with the NCAA clearinghouses, that they have the courses necessary to graduate. And then going along with social media, recognizing, rewarding, and promoting our student athletes. I think that is huge. We continue to showcase the narrative that West Clermont is a district on the rise. Coach Kelsey Cook, who is our golf coach and softball coach, has created a student athlete leadership team here, which is made up of about 40 kids from each different sporting team we have here. They do a lot of community service work, fan engagement, and drawing students to our team. And then as Natasha has mentioned before, Leader and me, bringing that program to the high school next year to continue to develop our student athletes into the next leaders. And then as Alex has mentioned, or will mention here, we want to explore lowering the middle school pay-to-play fee. West Clermont is currently one of the only districts in the ECC where the high school and the middle school pay-to-play is the same amount. Most schools are different. We think that's a barrier to entry for some of our middle school students.
What is that pay-to-play?
$250 for both the middle school and the high school. And then lastly, to increase participation, we have added 6th grade clubs in our cross-country, golf, and tennis teams at the middle school, and we have seen great turnout with that, and it's a great way for the 6th graders to get their feet wet in athletics, and then hopefully we continue to grow numbers at the lower levels. And then Alex has a testimony from a parent who was a 6th grade cross-country runner.
Yeah, as Ray mentioned, this is an email from a parent from a 6th grade cross-country runner. Knew we opened up this year some opportunities for 6th grade student athletes. Up until this year, sports at the middle school are 7th grade, 8th grade. So we added some clubs and some of the sports that our participation numbers are lower, in hopes of growing those numbers not only at the high school but at the middle school in years to come. So this is a great testimonial from a parent that had a fantastic experience, and we're hoping to expand on these opportunities in the future and continue to grow what we're working with here at the middle school. As James mentioned earlier, our Merging the Bins initiative that we really launched full force in December has been a great success with the middle school and the high school. What we've done is we really want to create 7 through 12 programs throughout the entire athletic department. So what's that look like is getting at least one middle school game per team at the high school during their season, letting them utilize our great facilities here and seeing what they're working towards and growing to become a part of. Like James mentioned, during the winter, we launched all of our middle school teams practice over here, led by the high school coaches, and they loved it. It was great. They liked spending time in the gym with Coach Click, getting to experience what a high school practice would look like. It was a great experience for all of them. And we're really working towards aligning all of our high school and middle school coaches, 7 through 12, to getting them on the same page and working towards the same goals. We've started incorporating high school coaches in the middle school hiring process, and that's been great success, creating that bond between them that they can lean on each other during the season when they're working towards some of their goals. This is our pay or participate data that Reed mentioned earlier. In our conference, as you can see, West Clermont is the only school that has the high school and the middle school are on the same level for pay to participate. You'll see these are some of our middle school participation numbers. You'll see they're on the rise here. So a couple of things we're really proud of this year at the middle school. As you see, that 455 student athletes in our year in total is the highest it's been in West Clermont Middle School history. The numbers we're showing are since COVID, since they look a little goofy during that year. So we're showing after COVID. And then two things that we're really proud of. Our girls tennis team, this is the first time in West Clermont Middle School history that we fielded a full girls tennis team at the middle school. And the boys, this is their first time. Boys tennis team, this is their first time fielding a team since COVID. So we're really proud of those numbers. You'll see next year we're adding girls wrestling and boys volleyball to the middle school. We're trying to align all of our sports offerings with what the high school has to offer to continue to grow those numbers. Our target participation number is 550 student athletes by 2030. We think continuing to grow our 6th grade offerings and adding the sports, we definitely think that number is well within our reach. So we're working towards hitting that number.
I have a question.
Yep.
So when you say middle school, is that the 6th grade included in all of that, or just the 7th?
So our sports offerings are 7th and 8th. So that does include the 6th grade club.
Oh, the club. Okay.
And then moving on to high school participation of the same numbers from COVID. And then on, just a note that open enrollment closed at the beginning of the 22-23 school year. Kind of two numbers I wanted to point out. Track and field this year, we're at 106, the highest since the 21-22 school year. And then boys soccer for this year at 36, which was the highest since COVID. Two numbers that we'd like to see continue to grow. We hope to be, we're at 683 student athletes for this school year. With Alex's middle school offerings continue to increase, as well with the 6th grade offerings, we think in the next 3 years we should be pushing over 700 student athletes, which is the trend we think we should be on.
And also, part of this work, we were on the salary committee to review supplemental contracts. And what we found about is in our league, Otten and Foltz put together something that made us competitive on a proposal to put us like in the middle of the conference. We were losing a lot of assistant coaches mainly to other schools in our conference because they were going other places and getting substantial raises for the same time. I feel really good about the work that committee did, and I think it's fair, and I think we're just talking about it with coaches that were on it. They were excited that it's even a possibility to like put us in the middle. On that too, the hiring committees that we've had at the high school where it's a panel, we started doing that at the middle school also. So it would mock what we're doing, 7 through 12 coaches meetings to go over all the updated changes with the athletic handbook and the policy. And then the main work we have to do this summer is develop a portrait of a coach. What do we want our coach to be? We want someone to push you no matter what, be there to love you. We want our parents to let kids be coached, but to coach a kid, you have to have a relationship with them. So our portrait of a coach can't be content. It has to be personal. And then 7 through 12. The policy is now, before Alex hires someone, the high school coach is not the decision maker, but they at least have to meet with the middle school coach. The middle school has an AD and a principal, just wanna like meet, sit down, and also, as the high school people, we gotta do a better job of letting them know that we care about them just besides when we need them to do something for us. The partnerships, the youth nights were such a success, we're going to a different level with it this year. We're going to bring youth sports jamborees to the high school. We're going to have a youth night, I think it's July 25th or 26th, don't quote me on that, whatever that Friday is. Every youth football and cheerleader will play on this football field. So 700 kids are going to play that night. Our partnerships with Mercy Health, Fairfax, and La Rosa's are second to none. We want to give them such a good service that when the contracts are up, they're calling Dan to read. They're a phone call away from anything they need at the event. We're updating the handbook with different policies and changes. Our alumni events have been awesome. We just labeled a few in there. Last year, the alumni event, people were on launch chairs all the way down to where the sidewalk is. And that's when we found out this Wolf Pride, it's really there, because it's a lot of kids that are just coming back for that game. And then, I can't stress this enough, we need to promote the athletic boosters to up attendance, get a voice. We're willing to listen. And changing the environment. We want to foster every relationship we have, but we also are looking for more. We've created a 5-year forecast from facilities to equipment improvement, like I said, from jerseys to hurdles to turf maintenance. We've done a great job with the facilities here, a great job. Moats told me in the fall that we're the model of Cincinnati. Our grooming, our upkeep, turf field should last 12 years. Ours is 7 years old, and he's saying 14, 15 years. Because we groom it once a month, because we sweep it, choke it. We're the model of Southwest Ohio turf maintenance. So they ask of me what we're doing. Well, we directional sweep. Stuff like that over time saves the district $1.4 million. That's what turf replacement is for 2 fields. We just got new turf in indoor, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Definitely a competitive advantage. So thank you guys for that. And starting and finishing with communication. We're going to go a step farther with communication this year. We're going to have preseason meetings of the preseason. We're going to have the coaches talk to the parents and say, hey, this is summer conditioning and part of the tryout process. We're still having a meeting. Just because you came all summer and worked out in that, this is still the protocol of making the team. I want to be transparent about the whole conditioning process. Then when our teams are selected, we will have another parent meeting about team protocol, rules, etc. Then once teams are selected, I think it would be very beneficial to do bi-weekly meetings with your roster, and that way sometimes it eliminates some of the grayness of where a kid stands on the team. If a coach can just do a 5-minute sit down at the end of practice every day and do 3 a day for that week, and then the kid feels like they're being heard too, and they have some say in the improvement is kid driven, I think that will go a long way in long-term problems. We revised the tryout process this spring. It's perfect. We cut, I think, around 55 kids. We had a rubric. We met with every kid. People that wanted to see their scores in that, they were available by number only. There was no names on the tryout. Alex was number 76. They came in and said number 76. They were privy to their tryout information, and we discussed. And then if that wasn't good enough, the coach was going to return the phone call. That worked really well this spring. It was time driven, but I also thought there's no good way of telling a kid he's not on the team, but being upfront with them and as transparent as possible and letting them see their scores, I think really helped. We need to do a better job of giving postseason reports to the superintendent updates. We haven't done a very good job of celebrating our successes. And then every summer I meet with Assistant Superintendent Gebhardt to do handbook changes. So So our coaches meeting in July will reflect all those changes. We've had great turnout at those meetings. We've had Lampy here. We've done 7 through 12, then we do breakouts. But our format of coaches meeting from this point forward will be 7 through 12, so it's the same voice to everybody. Then at the end of the meetings, the coaches signed that they went over the handbook, that it was went over with them about procedures and protocols. And then we need to just stay consistent on our district communication. Right now, our district communication to parents is remind and final forms. The reason we want that is kid and parent is on. We don't want coaches texting kids because that's not transparent. Me grabbing my daughter's phone is not transparent. Me seeing a Final Four post where I can see dialogue puts us in great transparency. And we have two resources for that. The coaches like Remind. We use Final Forms because we can get to more people quickly. So if you have kids on teams, you'll really quick. We changed that this spring with freshman baseball and that. We've got rave reviews. Thank you for the communication. Like we would have 5 updates in an hour based on that.
So as an athletic department, as we continue to tell our story, we have 2 main platforms that we use. We use Instagram here, and this is kind of our data from the past 90 days. So in the past 90 days, we reached just over 7,000 accounts with 316,000 total impressions, which is views on our posts, whether they saw that based on a share of someone's story, it showed up on their For You page, or if they follow us. And then we've had 16,000 post interactions, which is your likes, comments, and shares based on our post. And then we've gained 130 new followers and have had 9,000 profile views, people coming to view our profile. And a couple of pictures here, as mentioned before. The first one on the left is our boys basketball youth night from January 23rd. We had a group of our West Clermont Youth Basketball Association kids come out, filled the gym. Right? They wrapped all the way around the floor, so it's great for them to experience what game night looks like here at West Clermont. And then our one on the right here, Senior Riley Woolridge, the baseball team played in the Red Skyline Chili High School Showcase game a couple weeks ago at Midland. They won 10-0 over Turpin, and Riley was named MVP for his performances. Some of the graphics that we made for Instagram. And then kind of our second piece of social media that we hope to use, tell our story, is Twitter or X. In the past month, we've had 97,000 impressions, which is almost a 3% increase from the month before, 600 likes and 92 retweets. And then just featuring one of our posts that got some good attention, senior Shelby Allen and senior Caroline Batchelor threw a perfect game and no-hitter in back-to-back games with a doubleheader against Winton Woods. And that post has 1.3 thousand views on Twitter. So a great way for us to celebrate our student athletes and continue to publicize and promote the brand of West Clermont Athletics. And lastly is pretty much the home of everything you need to know about West Clermont Athletics. Hinting at one of our corporate sponsors here, ShareFax also sponsors us on our athletic website. So on the athletic website, you'll find schedules, rosters, photos, stories of what's happened at West Clermont. You can find all your information on Final Forms. Pretty much everything you need to know about West Clermont Athletics is going to be found on our athletic website, and that athletic website averages about 12,600 viewers a month. So people want to know about the success of West Clermont. People are hungry for the information of West Clermont Athletics.
A quick question I have about the Twitter or the X is this what you're speaking of? Is this something that you guys run?
Yes.
Because I also feel like each individual sport has their own way of putting stuff out as well.
Correct. So we try to, I get post notifications when any one of our teams post something, so then we can highlight what they're doing, and then when we're at a game or whatnot, I can post, like for baseball. We try and post at least a few updates during the game, obviously, because the baseball coach can't tweet during the game. So they're highlighting the stuff that's going on after the game, we're highlighting the kids, and just the entire program as a whole.
So if another sport is putting something on there, you are getting alerted of this as well?
Correct, yes.
We don't monitor it, but we get alerts because sometimes we'll be at a game and I'll get home and there'll be 50 notifications. But this data here is just the ones that we control. That is not the softball's account or the girls' basketball account. If you put those numbers in it, they would be astronomical because they have their own subgroups of following. If we get a suspicious something like that, we don't patrol it because it's their own handle, But if we get an update on something and it's good, we'll retweet it. If it's something that's not good, we'll make a phone call. But it's not, I'm gonna be honest, it's not policed. We get the notification, and it's switched. It went from when you download the app to Twitter to X, so there's been a little bit, but this is just our data. It's just showing you that our website is over 100,000 hits a year. So that has become the hub for our information, which in turn has taken our phone calls down from 200 a week to probably 50. Because now they can get all what they want on a click and a click. And I know they're looking at it because I got a text today from a freshman baseball parent, Mrs. Renner. You didn't put the address of Veterans Park on the freshman baseball game. And I said, 4318 Forest Road. So I know she got on and looked because it just said freshman baseball waiting. So that was a mistake, but she was looking at it. So I caught it, and then we, boom, final forms instantly. And then the parents were like, oh, thank you. Because when you enter destination, time, location, when I'm entering a game, away doesn't mean Anderson High School. Because we're blessed, we're one of 3 freshman baseball schools in our county that have their own freshman baseball field. Everybody else plays at community parks. So if we put away, if we don't go and put Veterans Park, I got 30 freshman baseball parents calling me. So, and they should. So like when we just clicked away, but in our scheduling, there's no Veterans Park. So you have to go on final forms and put it in. So today I knew they were looking at it because we say we updated to 2:05 when I got the text. We sent it out.
So to continue with the communications piece, I didn't necessarily interrupt your presentation, but on the goals piece, obviously all of them sound really good. I like the goals. I like having goals. One of the things, Mr. Pons, that you mentioned quite a bit, and I've mentioned it, I believe, at least it's my stance, is the transparency piece. So we have to get back to building trust with the community. We have to increase the transparency, making sure that we're putting stuff out there, the good, the bad, the ugly, and then evaluating what's going on athletic brand. So I truly appreciate that piece.
And we can keep talking about the social media. One of the things we had to do in the district, every school had a social media. And we at one point decided to make it just a district one. And our whole goal was to drive a lot of engagement in one place versus splintering our support. And so I think it's something, it's pretty typical in high schools that every team has one. And so I think we can just keep looking at it because the ultimate thing is we want to make sure that everyone's getting the information they need and we're increasing those viewers and shares.
So I think some sports are better than others. Like Kelsey Cook does a great job with the softball team. Whether that's promoting alumni, like a countdown that they did to the season, to some of our other programs who utilize it here and there. So that's where the athletic department, like I kind of pick up the slack. Basketball doesn't necessarily post all the time about their game days. The athletic department takes care of that and makes sure they're still being promoted.
And Mr. Patton, the big thing on transparency is on our vices that we pay for with the final forms and if I'm a parent of a team and I send a coach a request to join the Remind and he denies it, we are no longer transparent from that one forward. If I'm a parent of definitely of a freshman and a sophomore kid that don't drive, with that whole weekly event, that whole calendar is their life. So the reason we want them using that is when the parent sends you a request to join your Remind group, 100% yes. So that's how we fix transparency one post at a time.
Yeah, and we've had to do that in the district as well when, with how our alert system works, if it's a emergency communication and people, they want to know if school's canceled as a water main break or whatever, but they've shut us down on receiving something maybe they weren't interested in. So I think us always sharing what our tools are and why they're important for everybody to stay in, I think it's just like we have to keep working on across the whole district. So. Do you guys have any more questions or things for us to think about as we move forward?
I feel like I spoke a lot, but I will tell you I appreciate this presentation that you guys did. I can tell that you guys put some work into this. I like where we're heading. I like to just keep moving in that direction.
Yeah, I appreciate the time, you guys. I think it's a great opportunity to be able to tell the world the good and to share our story. And I think we'll just keep on growing that. I know you put a lot of time and thought into this, and I'm very excited, especially about all the engagement that you're planning. I think it is so important that we develop our players and get that mindset of, we're all wolves from a very young age and get connected here. And I think you guys have made huge strides this year. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Romano, if you will pull up the next slides. You're still over there with us? I feel like you're so far away from me. I want to just take a moment as we move into the strategic planning process, just to remind everybody, it's fine, to remind everybody of the process we've been following, and then really give the board a chance. We've listened a lot all through since January. We've had presentations like the one you just saw come in here, and it's a lot of information. We've had events, presentations at the CAC, and we've also had them here. So, and I know many of you get a double dose. So just to remind you, our entire process that the impact team has gone through is first stakeholder engagement. That is the thought exchange, the surveys, the focus groups. It has been a heavy, heavy lift to give everybody a seat at the table and a voice. We've had some true success with the Citizens Advisory Commission and the community advisory teams. We had a great turnout just this week of parent leaders, community leaders stepping in and saying, we want to be part of this process, and very excited about their level of input and influence on our decisions. And as you know, the interactive town halls, we've had about one a month for at least 4 or 5 months of the school year over the last 3, and we plan on continuing to do that. We brought to you back in, it was a revised version of the project leadership statement so that you would know what all the impact teams were focused on. And through that process, they completed a SOAR analysis to look at the strengths in the areas of where we had opportunity to grow and to look at data and the results that we were really after. They presented both to the Citizens Advisory Commission and then followed up with a report to you guys. And our plan is next meeting on May 20th, the Citizens Advisory Commission will come and report to you. And we will also be bringing the strategic plan, draft reading number 1 for you guys to review. And so this is really the last meeting opportunity for you guys to weigh in and have some more influence and talk to us about your priorities when it comes to all the different buckets. So what we're going to do is some speed dating, a little bit interactive, get us moving around a little bit. Randy is going to place 5 chairs around the circle, and we're going to have you guys go be on the insides of the circle. We'll have David Foltz, you're going to go down where Greg is. So we'll have a group working with human capital and anything related to staff well-being on that end. We will have elementary programming and then secondary programming. So we need 2 seats over here. We will have safety and well-being of our students with Eric. And we will have transportation and facilities with Randy and Chuck. So Tina, if you'll start there with Randy and Chuck. If you will start, Tammy, with safety and well-being. Michael, if you will start with Dr. Foltz. Ryan, if you'll start with elementary programming, education, and if you'll start with secondary. I will time us. You'll have time to give feedback and thoughts on that area, and our team will take notes on what you say, and then I will rotate us in about 5 minutes in. So you start your, I think you start with elementary. Yeah, just come in on this side. Yeah, you sit in those chairs right there. And I'm going to time us 5 minutes.
Talk about facilities. We have to think about part of the So some of the things that we have to consider, operational costs, that's not the factoring yet. Transportation costs, that's not the factoring yet. Well, furniture is a big part of the whole package. That's not something that we want to forget. That we want to communicate in the fact because not only is it kind of a strategy for dealing with past, you know, we know that the start line we didn't want to do that when we had 19. So it is narrowed it down, started to look at that. Really is come out of this 5 years, separated teachers. It's not cheap. Yes, kind of down as far as what the CAP will have to do so far. Just kind of look at this, get the operations clean up with that last machine and next machine, start talking about the operational costs.
Yeah, we will go back.
Try to narrow it down. So people know have a better idea. Start talking about obviously, when we look at this process, they're going to so we have a look at this map, timeline, there's a window for us. We want to build. Start talking about 2 years past what we said was past. And you know that you can't have a building, you can't have a district without operation. At that point, then this becomes all the operational costs. Always want to get
Okay, about a minute left, so you need to make sure there's time for board feedback before you move on.
It could be, but I don't, that's so, those are the things that, the initial part, we don't have to focus on, but when we get down to there, those are the things that we gotta do. Yeah.
Okay, our 5-minute marker is up. Are you guys good to rotate? I'll come back. I'm trying to see if that was enough time for everybody.
Somewhere in Union Township, Acadia Township.
Okay.
Pierce Township, I know in.
We're gonna rotate now, so Tina, you're gonna go.
Our day's over, Tina, you gotta go.
All right, sorry. We're gonna go down that way. Yeah, you're gonna go down. Tina, you're gonna.
You'll have plenty of opportunity.
So I'm asking you to feedback on.
Thank you.
Ryan, you're gonna go to your right. Michael to the right. Tina's coming your way. You don't have to roll in your chairs. You can walk as hard. I hope so. So now you know what 5 minutes feels like, so you can plan your time.
And you're coming over here.
Okay.
I made a mess, I'm sorry.
All right, 5 minutes.
I know, we got 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
5 minutes, you gotta build a building in 5 minutes. So, you know the process, we showed this kid where we're at. So we've gotten through May, 24, got our other cat team. So, remember when we started back here, we had 17 different things. This came out February. So, what I point out is when we look at the overall plan, I know, when I look at the overall plan, we cannot forget about the social charge fund. That's still got to be part of our plan. That is something that's hard to do. You know that from our TAC that we did a year ago. So middle school start that is going to be a part of this plan. So we don't want to bring it. The other piece of it is, as you can see, from this committee, from this master facility, from the CAT, they really want to separate these 5, 6, 7, 8. So the top 3, we have 2 different ones. Now this will be on the same property. It could have some shared services and get cost share. It doesn't mean that. But they could share like athletic services. So we give cafeteria, don't have to have 2 different cafeteria. Even cafeteria would be something that we can plan to do. Ready for that. So she can get one on, 2.5, all of the different things. Top 3 female.
It's given us opportunities to get our start.
We're going to be in our stage. Yeah, so what that is basically the same kind of configuration. So when you do 7, 6, 7, 8, the problem is there's going to be a lot more things that we're going to have to do down here. Because not taking started with grade out, that's helps with our base. Like we do end up putting in a that could pull some part of that. Now, however, we don't know. So this is utilize the current buildings, and this would have 3 different buildings right now, which is currently what we're gonna have next year. Next year, we're gonna have 3 buildings. Assistant coordinator and preschool. But.
2-minute warning.
What we do, move around, make it a little bit bigger to accommodate there. So we're also doing 5 purposes. What this is, having a 3 different locations. Those things will make the start a little bit bigger, not exceed 600 students. This one is a new preschool, this one's a new preschool. There's a lot of different areas. Still got the middle school, Cambridge at Holly Hill, but that's not really centrally located. Different areas, actually got the property in front of WPA. Possibilities there. And we do already have 2 properties that you can have that you can talk about when you go out. It's just a matter of where all these go.
1 more minute.
The west goes about 30% right now. About 30%. That's a pretty good number. That's pretty solid. Watching it down to 25. They gave me 30. I thought that was pretty good. So, but then again, there's a lot of things we have to follow. We have to follow their Actually, no, they don't really. Share now. They don't do that. Projecting. Talking to them right now.
talk about transportation for you. Okay, it's time to rotate. So you're gonna keep going this way. Tammy's gonna come over here to Dr. Foltz.
Tell them the other.
Jim on to transportation.
So take away from this, they're continuing working on this, get more active. Don't worry about those.
You're with us.
5 minutes is not very long.
So you're pretty well versed in this, because you sat through the facilities. So what we've got here is, we're gonna narrow down what it's going to be. So that comes for operational. We gotta get better numbers for enrollment, we gotta get OFCC and our decision site working together as well. We have better enrollment numbers. OFCC's down to about 30%. Tyler told us. I think we got it right.
That's a good trade.
Typical schools I've been there anywhere from 24 to 30. So that's pretty fast. But I think the key thing that we have to think about as a board is we can do a bond issue. We've got to clearly from the CAP, two buildings, 5, 6, 7. We did some shared services as far as that, cafeteria, auditorium, built all on the same site. Do that on that property without any question. So, this year, realistically, we thought about it. So, no one thing that, but
Yeah, when I heard that, I was like,
we know we have.
minute warning, because a lot of our campers are interviewing.
I love Merle. When they walk around Merle, they don't say it. They love cloth. We got people in cloth. So better than my shirts, you know, having their foot right. And we don't have to.
What I mean is like, I guess what I mean is like, sometimes it's It's time to shift yet again, so.
Thank you.
I think this is your last. All right. Let's keep on trucking. Time clock.
Here. Good evening.
Transportation and.
Facility and transportation parts. Name is Johnny Moore.
One minute warning.
Bills is like a Cadillac. But I think once they start
Okay, all right, time to rotate again. I think we're getting, I think you have two more, so time to shift. Everyone loves to stop talking. You do.
Tasha's like a
hammer down.
Our date's over, man.
Oh, I get to see my friend.
We got another 3 hours, I'm trying.
Eric.
Okay, Jim, you're gonna roll. Roll to the right, Jim.
Thanks for sticking in there. It's the last one.
Facility, man. Here's what we got. You're aware of it. Kind of laugh.
I just gave it over to where you said it.
No one needs it. Really need to get out of the
I was testing for
Top 3 have 5, 6 separated. The reason being is we talk about the number of things that don't come out, that you still have space, so that they realize that you don't do things, you're not talking. So, and they also have to make you got the 5 shapes. So the other piece of this, by doing this, obviously we're going to start
Can I move it to you?
I'm not surprised because I think number one is they want to make the illustration small. We know that we have an issue that is costing us a lot. We know that from an educational standpoint. Because of the space problems that we face in our new buildings, I think you saw that as a way to address it. I'm not surprised, well, once Dan does his magic, he gets some numbers together,
You got a drawer with 170 minutes.
That's all, that's, I'm gonna say this right now, that one vote is Cadillac, when you go new, that's Cadillac. So they end up with a chorus, we all right, that, today, that's probably gonna end up with something that's not right. So rather than Brenda, we do that as well. Greg, there's still something we have to figure out, something more, how we look at
Okay, 1 minute warning.
You never some room to build another two-story building, probably behind one. So, I mean, there's an opportunity. Regardless of what you want to do. What our jobs are, we're going to get surveys for you, we're going to get more data, closer to the cost. And the other thing I'm going to say is, as far as the tree insurance, and then we got about a
Okay, 5 more seconds.
26, we're going to start talking about.
Okay, time is up. Your speed dating is officially over.
Yeah, so once that window, then we can start.
Yeah, it's time to go back to where we started. Back to your seat. I know. Oh, we can get the chairs, it's okay. Just leave them. We'll take care of it. So I reminded you of the process that we followed, and I know sometimes when people are doing surveys or working in focus groups, they're like, what are they gonna do with all that information? Well, we've been dealing with, the low-hanging fruit and making improvements along the way, but we're getting ready to then put all of the comprehensive information into the 2030 strategic plan. So this is just a reminder for all of you, as of May 6th, all the engagement opportunities that people have had a chance to be a part of. We want to create this kind of culture in our school district. This isn't something we're just doing for the strategic plan. We want to see this continue and grow over time. On our website, you can go to the section called About Our District. There's a section called Town Hall. You can see all the Town Hall pictures, videos, artifacts, all the survey data, anything we've compiled along the way is hosted on this site, so anybody can take a look at that. This is just a reminder of the engagement reports. We've also been telling our journey in our roadmap reports. I think we're up to 5 roadmap reports now that are online, and we will produce another one in the summer. And I'll just leave you with this. We started with 5 challenges. Along this process, we really came in to study, like, what do we mean by the purpose and design of school? And we got really clear that in order to affect the purpose and design of school, we have to look at the learning model, we have to look at our workforce, we have to look at our learning environments, and our family and community partnerships. And the goal really here is to modernize all of those things, to bring them well into the 21st century as we look ahead now to, I can't believe it, 2030. And by addressing the challenges, changing the conditions in our school district around purpose and design, we will ultimately have future-ready graduates, and that's what we're for. And so that's what this process is about. Next meeting on the 20th, the CAC will come and present their vision for the future. We will show a draft of the strategic plan that will have 3-year objectives, strategies, and 1-year goals. We'll have you do the first reading of that, and then we'll bring it back to you in June for the second reading and for the final, the affirmation of the plans that we'll take into next fall. So we still got some time here for feedback, but we are what's it called? Rounding third, heading home. It's one of those. We're getting there.
We're an extra innings.
Yeah, we are extra innings. Okay, so thank you. you very much for your
That's
attention.
no good, Cincinnati.
And is there any just final, after you've had a chance to do the speed dating and give some feedback, answer, get your questions answered, share your priorities, any just good of the order comments?
I think that this has been the best speed dating that West Clermont has ever done. And I look forward to the next speed dating.
All right, we'll keep that in mind. All right.
I appreciate everybody's hard work. I know it took a lot of time and energy, and you could just see, and I love James Collins, but he was sweating bullets. But you can see that they were really dedicated, and all of the impact teams and all of the research you guys did. I appreciate it. I know it took a lot of time and effort. I appreciate it. It helps me get a little bit better footing on where we're headed and where we're at. Thank you.
All right, so I'm not going to add any more comments tonight. I think I've said enough, so we'll move over to treasurer comments.
All set?
Yep.
So go to item 5.01. 5.01 is request for in lieu of transportation. As you recall, those are, it's a request for transportation for non-public school students where it is more efficient for the parent to provide transportation needs for their students, and we reimburse them. There are defined rates in which we reimburse them. So there's one contract being requested, so the recommendation to approve the in lieu of transportation for students for the 23-24 school year.
Thank you. You've heard the recommendation. I'll actually put that out in the form of a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Sanborn. Is there any discussion on that? Thank you. Mr. Romano?
Mr. Patton?
Yes.
Ms. Sanborn?
Yes.
Mrs. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Rudy?
Yes.
Mr. Chumley?
Yes.
5 yes. The second item is a request for authorization, resolution authorizing the superintendent treasurer to negotiate for the purchase of multi-function copiers and associated maintenance supplies. As you recall, Mr. Parise put forward an RFP several months back, received those quotes and bids from various vendors. They are listed. There was a review of those. It has not been finalized, so this request is really requesting authorization for us to go negotiate that contract. Out of the process where the proposals were received, it's been narrowed down to 3 different providers, so that we're not kind of put behind the 8 ball with one specific provider. It's still open. But this is authorizing us to go forward. We will bring that contract back to you once it is approved, but this is requesting authorization for us to move forward. We plan on having new copy machines installed this summer. We would most likely purchase those and then have a 5-year service agreement for those machines. And so the request is the recommendation for the board to approve the resolution authorizing the superintendent treasurer to negotiate for the purchase of multi-function copiers and associated maintenance supplies.
Thank you. You have heard the recommendation. Would someone like to make a motion, please? Thank you, Mr. Rudy. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Chumley?
Chumley?
Is there any discussion on that, guys? Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Rudy?
Yes.
Mr. Chumley?
Yes.
Ms. Sanborn?
Yes.
Mrs. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Patton?
Yes.
5 yes. The last item is disclosure information purposes. So at various times, the county, the township, other overlapping government will provide us updates on certain economic development projects. Within the last few weeks, there were 3 of those that were received. The first one was from Clermont County, and it is within the enterprise zone, and it's a request for abatement in Union Township for Solutions Pulse Inc. That application has been applied for. That is not, just to be clear, it's an enterprise zone. It's requesting an abatement. It is requesting 30%, 3 years out rather than going out 10 years or longer with that. That has been forwarded to us. The second one is, and I do not believe it really impacts any part of our district, but is notification that in Wayne Township, installation of wind farms or other utilities that may be placed about within that township. Third one is the Union Township request for a extension, a 30-year extension to the Glen Ross State East TIF. And there is a TIF that is in existence. This 30-year extension actually does help us out. We've had some conversations. I think most of the board knows that there was a time period with the high school debt payment schedule where there was some anticipation of some funds that would come from TIF revenue from designated sites that did not come in. With this extension, it will allow at least 8 years of recapturing some of the money that was built into those debt schedules. So it'll be made whole more so on the back end than in what was perceived to be in the front end of that schedule. So that will be forthcoming too. There may be a modification that may follow that would certainly come to the board of the compensation agreement as that's put forward. So those are the three notifications, no actions by the board tonight on those, merely for information purposes only. If you have questions on any of that, you can either now or you can get with me later on so that we can go through all those. Okay? Questions on that? Okay. Last comment, just as way of notification too, in my last comment. So as we see, and we're starting to see, and we're starting to read the signs that interest rates or the Fed fund interest rate may be changing. And we're seeing that as we look to invest our funds, our dollars, we're at a point where going out a year or 2 years on our investments may be more beneficial to us. There is, as we look out over the next 5 years, there's a minimum amount that we will have on hand to invest. We're not going to invest that whole thing in long-term investments, but we are looking at starting to ladder out 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, 15 months, 18 months, 2 years to capture and secure current interest rates. There's the feeling that the Fed fund rate will go down, which will force the shorter term rates, which are higher right now, to go down. And so as those lines from the short term to going out 1 or 2 years are starting to cross, we're starting to secure some of our investments in those 1 and 2 year ranges to do that. And so we did start doing some of those transactions last Friday. They are sending me the closure statements on those, the settlement statements on those. You'll receive that. I will send them to you now, but they'll be in the May 20th board agenda for approval too. And so we're starting to capture that. Okay. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Romano. Board comments? I'll start with you, Mrs. Spencer.
We got executive session.
We're just doing board comments.
Okay. Board comments first. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yep. All right. He's on track.
I don't really have, I love seeing the retirees. I know that a couple of the teachers were my kids' teachers and they were great teachers and I enjoyed seeing them and I hope them the best in the retirement. Actually, I hope they come back to sub or long-term sub or stay, even though, I think it's great that we recognize those that put in so much time and effort in their career and they have retired from their passion of teaching.
I had the opportunity to go with Ms. Adams and Mr. Romano to Columbus for the state of the legislature. It was a wild trip, I'm just telling you. I asked if I could follow Ms. Adams to Columbus. So she said, well, you need to stop at the Flying J. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a truck stop. What's she need at the truck stop? She's like, I need food. I'm up, 4:45, I'm up, I'm out the door 5:15. So I get up there, because I didn't know, we get stuck in traffic, you know, anything can happen. So I get there and I pull in, and I'm like, well, there's no Miss Adams. But I know she told me she's not leaving till 5:45. And so, so I called her and I said, hey, I'm here, I just wanted to let you know. She goes, Tina, didn't you hear me? I said I wasn't gonna leave till 5:45. I said, yeah, I heard you loud and clear. But you know, I just like to be on time, you know, and get there, you know, get my coffee, kind of relax a little. She goes, oh, don't worry about that. So I followed her up, and so I was on, I thought, well, I'm gonna follow her. So she's leading. So I see the sign that says 55 miles an hour. And I'm like, 55, that's good. We'll get there sometime this morning. So I'm following her, and I'm like, she's like, and I'm like, wow. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to at least do 80 to catch up with her. Yep, that's what I had to do, 80 to catch up with her. She's like, she really wants to get there now. But all in all, I had a good time. It was very informative. Governor DeWine spoke. He's a hoot, I'm just telling you that. The main reason that I heard him loud and clear talking about cell phones. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about all of my cousins. They all have cell phones, and they all are like well engrossed in their cell phone. And they came down to my house for Thanksgiving last year, and I wanted to carry on a conversation with them. And they're like all involved in their cell phones. So I just went over and I took all their cell phones away and I put them on top of my refrigerator. And they said, Aunt Tina, why'd you do that? I said, because I want to have a conversation with you. And I can't have a conversation with you if you're on your cell phone. And the parents are like, and the grandparents are like, Tina, thanks so much for doing that. They love that I took charge and made them sit and have a conversation with me. So all in all, I had a great day. The speakers, the representatives, and the senators were very accommodating. We actually met with Senator Johnson, Representative Adam Byrd, and Representative Gene Schmidt, and they were very concerned about West Clermont, and they listened to what Natasha wanted to talk about, and then she asked them what we could do to help them, and I think that's a win-win, because if you go talk to the representative and you only go to talk to them about an issue or a problem that you have versus going in with a positive outcome or a positive message, that speaks volumes for her leadership style, and I really appreciate it, and I had a really awesome time, and I want to thank you.
Thanks for going.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Chumlin?
Got nothing to add?
Okay. Nothing to add. I will keep mine brief. I did not get the pleasure of going with you guys. Sounds like a lot. Again, I do appreciate the retirees. I appreciate all the service that they gave to our district. I also appreciate the athletics speech that they gave today, the presentation. That was very helpful, so I do appreciate that. So that is all that I have at this point. There is a reason to go into executive session for the purpose of considering the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee, and to consider the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official license or licensee or student. I do not believe that we'll be making any vote coming back out. So at this point, I will put that out in the form of a motion. Do I have a second? Thank you, Mr. Chumley. Is there any discussion on that?
We will be coming back out.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, Mr. Patton?
Yes.
Mr. Chumley? Yes. Ms. Sanborn?
Yes.
Mrs. Spencer?
Yes.
Mr. Rudy?
Yeah.
5 yes.
Yeah, we will be coming back out, but again, just to let people know that our next meeting will be Monday, May the 20th at 7 p.m. at the Civic Center.
Yes, we're back.
We're going back to the Civic Center.
Tours over.
Tours over. Okay.
Ms. Sanborn?
Yes.
The cabinet knows what it's like to follow her lead.
I'm sure Mr. Gephardt knows what it is to follow.
She knows, she knows.
Exactly.
I don't ever break the law.
It's called efficiency.
I don't either, but you know, I
I'm not
wanted
going
to
on
get
record to break the law. I've never been on the street.
I'm getting ready to get my ticket book out.
I'm with Mr. Patton. We always follow the law.
Tina, did you get a copy of my link?
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, for all cabinet, if you guys can gather with Ellie before you leave.
Download.
Some of the work sessions, they start earlier, but they couldn't do it.